Any reason why we don't fix a clock?
I got 1 minute is what I got. But that says we're 5 minutes late. That light's reflecting off Ken's head. I can't even see that.
Or she give you a light or what?
She gives me the point.
Oh.
'24. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson.
Present.
Councilor Reuter.
President.
Councilor Johnson.
Present.
Councilor DeWalt.
Present.
Mayor Ward is also present. Have the minutes please reflect Attorney Ray, Administrator Rich, Chief Gaddis, Chief Helquist, and Mayor Roger Reiner. Looking for a motion to approve the City Council meeting minutes from Tuesday, January 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Support by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to comments and suggestions from the citizens present. The public comment and suggestion period of this meeting is when the City Council offers a time for everyone in attendance or watching from home to address the City Council. Once we move on from public comment and suggestion period of the meeting, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the council unless the mayor acknowledges you. As a general rule, the council will listen to all comments but will not comment on or respond to comments made by speakers. The council will not engage in dialogue. However, any city councilor can ask questions. If you'd like to address City Council during the public comment suggestion period of the meeting, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6289. Before you begin, please state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the City Council will be prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or boisterous conduct that disrupts the meeting or the security of the public. Is there anyone at this time that is interested in participating in the public comment suggestion period of the meeting? Please come forward or dial 218-628-6289, and we'll give that a minute or so. You can come up if you got something.
Is it on?
The floor is yours.
All right. Well, Mayor Ward, councilors, thank you, first of all, Roger Reiner and Mayor in Duluth. So I appreciate getting a chance to address you, even though I'm not one of your residents, but I'm a neighbor. And one of the things that's been important to me in my first 100 days, and I just hit the 1 month mark on Friday or Saturday, was getting out to our near neighbors, folks that share a border with us and are in close proximity to us. You know, Duluth, of course, is the regional center, but we can't be a regional center without a region. And so it's important to me that I come, folks always come to Duluth. It's important to me that I come visit you at your house and say how excited I am to be in this new role. We're working hard already on a number of issues that we spent a year talking about at length in Duluth. And as we visited, I had a chance to meet your police chief and fire chief out in the hall. Just want to say, first of all, really appreciative of our mutual service agreements. And I know it's not just us going out, we have opportunities to invite your staff in as well. But in the campaign we had over the last year, one of the things that became so clear to me was everything that happens in Duluth matters to you and your residents. I'm going from here to Hermantown to have the same conversation with them. So mostly just here to say, excited to be a new elected official neighbor in the neighborhood, and look forward to working with all of you, and just wanted to kind of officially open those lines of communication. I know in the next 4 years we'll have issues of mutual concern, mutual interest, and one of my mantras is we're here to be a good neighbor. We're here to be a good partner with our businesses, our residents, and our near neighbors. So no ask tonight, just an opportunity to say hello, introduce myself, and encourage you to reach out, and maybe I can come back again and check in on a semi-regular basis and just see how things are going in Proctor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank you, and I appreciate the open lines of communication and you coming to speak with the council tonight. So
All right.
I look forward to working with you, as I'm sure everyone up here does. But council have any questions for the mayor?
Y'all want-
Congratulations, lots of luck. Your
Thank you.
success is going to be a success as well.
Likewise. Y'all are welcome in Duluth every time. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And hearing no other phone calls coming through, we'll move on to, are you ready for me to move on? Okay. We'll move on, looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. And that will bring us to 4A, where clerk advises council. Agenda memo, Administrator Rich.
Thank you, Mayor. You have something new in your packet this meeting, where it's an agenda memo that has a structure to it. Consists of who it's addressed to, whether it's from a department head, myself, or a combination, what we're asking for, if it's a discussion, resolution, ordinance, a brief background on what we're asking for, a list of attachments. Expect the memo to change and morph over time. Right now, I'm not super happy with the way it's structured and how easy it's to use, but if you would like any additional information in that memo to help you make your decisions, and as it changes and evolves, let me know, but I hope you find it helpful. And we'll try to put that memo in front of every action item that we're putting on the agenda.
No, and I really liked it when I saw it on Thursday or Friday. Never got the packet, but it's a neat way to categorize everything and make it real convenient. So, council have anything on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to 4B, mixed-use zoning update. Administrator Rich.
As you know, we are in a mixed-use zoning request with planning and zoning. A few things have happened since our last meetings. The Planning and Zoning Commission looked at creating a mixed-use ordinance or amending the code. PETA had received a proposal from ARDC in looking at our zoning ordinance as a whole and having a public engagement part of that that would amend the ordinance. So Planning and Zoning did look at that proposal. It was dated back from March. At that time, at that price, Planning and Zoning was comfortable with the proposal, but we did ask ARDC to update the proposal, being that it was some months. And now with the new, so it's new year, new contracts, new expenses, the price went up quite a bit. So at this point, Planning and Zoning has directed us to look at a mixed-use ordinance. They're still working on it. They're still developing it. I just wanted to let you know that it hasn't been dropped by the wayside.
Thank you. Council have any questions? Nope. Moving on to 4C, pickleball court update. Administrator Rich.
Also not a dead project. It was a busy summer last year with the Second Street project, so I didn't have a lot of time to devote to this particular project. LHB had given us a quote for engineering, and I'm getting a second quote for engineering from our city engineer, SEH. So we're looking to pick this project back up again, talk about location, talk about possibilities. Should have something closer idea of what we're looking at in the next couple weeks.
Thank you. Council have questions? Hearing none. Go to 4D, police retention efforts update, Administrator Rich.
Just to give you an update that Chief Gatus and Sergeant Rebo are looking at policy changes. They already did adopt policy changes for tattoos, and they're looking at language, and you'll be emailed that under separate cover and to give input on your thoughts on the take-home squad policy as well. Again, those policies aren't adopted by council, they're adopted by the Civil Service Commission, but the commission and Chief Gatus and Sergeant Rebo would like your input on those policies.
Thank you. Council have questions, comments? Hearing none. We'll go to 4E, 2024 committees and commission updates. Administrator Rich.
I had hoped to get these to you by this meeting. We had 2 applicants for Planning and Zoning Commission. Planning and Zoning Commission planned on doing interviews at their last meeting. One of the candidates fell ill and wasn't able to come to the commission meeting. So that appointment and that the recommendation from Planning and Zoning has been pushed back a little bit. So for now, those appointments and all of our status quo until we have a complete list at the next council meeting.
Thank you. Council have any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move to 4F, Local Board of Appeals meeting, April 30th, 2024 at 10 to 11 a.m.
And I believe you all received a meeting invite to put on your calendars today for that.
Questions regarding that?
For a quick second, if you will, Mr. Mayor.
You bet, Councilor Benson.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to 6A under new business. Tourism Committee sponsorship recommendation. So in your packet on that nice agenda memo, you can see that tourism is looking for the approval of a marketing and promotion sponsorship in the amount of $3,000 for the Bulls and Barrels Rodeo to be held on July 4th and 5th, 2024. Looking for a motion to approve that event sponsorship.
I will move.
Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Reuter. Any further discussion?
Just wanted to mention that the Bulls and Barrels Rodeo is expanded from 1 to 2 days. They really like the facility, and they're looking at perhaps in a very short period of time, it would rival Spooners. So they're very excited about it.
Nice, thank you. Any other discussion?
So, am I getting this right? We're actually spending $4,500, correct?
I saw 3,000.
It just said that, you know, the Tourism Committee recommended the council approval for the grant of $1,500 and an additional $3,000. So really,
That was spent last year's the way I read that.
oh, okay.
It-
So it's an increase from $1,500 to $3,000.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6B, Resolution 07-24, gambling premises approval. In your packet, you see the Keyboard Lounge LLC at 304 3rd Avenue is asking to become a premises for lawful gambling, looking to approve the gambling premises approval.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Benson.
So when gambling permits for pull tabs, electronic machines, that does not go with the license holder, it goes with the location.
Correct.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Bring us to 6C, Resolution 08-24, DPSA gambling permit approval. So in your packet's a gambling permit for the Duluth Softball Players Association, partake in lawful charitable gambling at the Keyboard Lounge LLC. Looking for a motion to approve the gambling permit.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to 6D, Resolution 09-24, appointing election judges, officials. You see the list in front of you for the presidential primary election this year. Looking for a motion to approve the election judges.
I will move.
Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Johnson seconds that. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Benson.
Thank you very much. Out of the judges, how many are from Proctor and how many are from the outside? I just want to see if my math is correct.
There's only one that I know personally that her address is not in the city of Proctor, but otherwise I don't know officially what their residential addresses are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to 6. Oh, I'm sorry, we got to put that to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Almost forgot the important part, right? We'll move on to 6E, Resolution 10-24, Pay Equity Report. So in your packet, you saw the Pay Equity Compliance Report. It does say we are in compliance. We're looking for a motion to approve the Pay Equity Report. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That'll bring us to 6F, Resolution 11-24, accepting a donation. In your packet was a donation from the Gordon Downs Trust Fund, and it looks like this is to pay sales tax on the utility cart. Looking for a motion to approve the donation.
I'll move.
Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Sent by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 6G, ISD number 704, parking at 704 Kirkus Street. Councilor DeWall.
Received an email from Proctor citizen on, I know everyone's kind of heard different issues with the parking over, so I thought it important to listen. I did respond, said I would take it to council, which it is before you, and then you have some of the back history of that if you had a chance to review that. You know, there was some questions, which thank you Administrator Rich for getting the data request information out. A lot has happened since 2017, and it seems to be growing, and it was actually fruitful to read the information. You know, when council was approving, there's certain things planning and zoning approved. Council doesn't approve the variance for parking, but council did approve a bunch of other things to help. Together we're trying to push this thing through, but obviously now things have changed. It's done great things, which is great for the town, great for the people, great for the youth, but there is lots of concerns. and it was kind of agreed upon that that would be revisited 3 to 5 years, which I think it's been all of that. That if need or demand was increasing, that they'd look at sizing it appropriately to that increase. And if you all read, it was, at first, anticipation was 1 or 2 times a year. I think it's much more than that. So I'll just kind of open it up to the floor, looking for your thoughts, suggestions.
Council have any comments, questions regarding the parking at 704 Kirkus Street? Councilor Benson?
Has the school been engaged with the parking? I know that they brought it up at a meeting or two, but have they approached fire department or police department to resolve the issue?
That's why the fire chief and I are here tonight, to sit there and show support that we need to move forward and do something with this. This has been going on for quite a while. I thought we had a resolution last summer to have them use that back lot where the soccer field was gonna go. That kind of fell through, and we're right back to what Councilor Dewall states, we're right back to the same problem that we have had for many years now. It's not getting any better. They're having more and more events there, and it's harder and harder for people to park. They've had staff, the fire chief has worked the events, trying to get people not to park where they're supposed to. I know they've ordered signs recently, but they can't put them in the ground now. And what do signs do? We have signs up at the school, signs all over the place. Unless people are there or they're educated, they're gonna park where those signs are. And there just isn't enough places for the people to park. Everybody wants to park close to the event, especially here. And it seems like it's funny to me that when we go to Target Field to go watch a baseball game, do we all expect we're gonna park right in front of the door and go walk in? Here, people expect that. They wanna park right as close as they can. I get some of the safety issues that the school brings up, that it's dark over by the field area and where that parking lot where they're suggesting further south down Peon to the where that open field is and stuff like that to get lighting. But I'm just here, I'm sure the fire chief was here to say, we want something to change. We'd like to have more egress and out into it and out of it. Like maybe a city minister brought up and talking about it. Is there another way from the back to sit there, walking paths to get back there so it's easier for pedestrian traffic flow? Something. We need to sit there and talk to them, and we need to get something changed there, because I don't want to sit there and see that, you know, per se a fire truck cannot get in there, an ambulance can't get in there to help someone.
Yeah, and I would agree. What would be the best first step, though? Bring the school into a public safety meeting and try and get a plan of what they're gonna do and follow through with that?
Yeah. I would say that would be a start, yes.
So like Chief said is, you know, I was down there working some of these events, and I walked out there, and there is no way we couldn't even get a squad car through. So we have, and I'm not so much worried about what happens on the ice. I mean, they have trainers, they have coaches. It's the grandparent that's in the crowd that has a heart attack or falls on the steps or anything to that effect. My question that I always ask the school is, what would they like me to do? Where do you want me to put the ambulance? Because I can tell you what the ambulances are not gonna try to go in there. And to expect them to wheel their gurney and all of their equipment from Kirkus all the way up there, that's not a feasible option. It's just not. We all know the parking's a problem. We've talked about it for 4 years at Public Safety. We were told numerous times that when it became a problem, they were gonna take care of it. And that was one of the issues that they got with the variance for the parking. And a former school board member, who was assistant fire chief, will tell you verbatim what happened in that meeting, that this was supposed to be taken care of. Nothing.
Yeah, no, and I agree with both of you that we need to sit down and come up with a solid plan of how they're gonna fix the issue. Problem I have with them parking down at Agerdal, there's not a crosswalk there, there's not flashing signs, there's nothing. At night, having people crossing Kirkus Street, I see that becoming a bad situation.
See, here's where, and this is one thing, you know, I've talked to the athletic director numerous times, he's a good friend of mine. I've given him suggestions. I've talked to other school staff. You know, we have an issue. We got 16, 18-year-old kids parking in a parking lot, but my 76-year-old mother is parking at the playground for everybody.
Right.
This is backwards. Who's more likely to trip and fall and break a leg? And yeah, you're right. Then maybe the school needs to hire a person to be a crossing guard. And here's what you got coming. Excuse me, Saturday, got the girls section 7A semifinals. With 1 hour in between games. 1.
Yeah, and I remember last time they had the championship game, their cars were parked all the way
Exactly.
down to Holiday, so it's an issue.
It kind of puts our departments in a bad spot. What direction do we take? We can't get in there with the rescue truck, can't get in there with the fire truck, God forbid something happens. And we certainly can't get into an ambulance, what's the next step? Does, I mean, I've asked the school flat out, is there something, does something really bad need to happen? Look what happened over in England. We lost a hockey player on the rink because he got cut by a skate plate. It's not out of the question to say something like that's gonna happen. We need to make some moves from the city / public safety standpoint to push the issue, because it hasn't got, as Councilor Wall said, it hasn't got better, it's only got worse.
No, and I think that's a good first step, if council agrees.
Yeah.
That's invite, oh, go ahead, Councilor.
This has been something ever since we gave them a variance to be able to put in less parking. That's what bothered me. You know, it'd be different if they put in the right amount of cars, and then at a big event, we ended up with cars out on Kirkus Street and stuff, but that's not the case. I've been up there, even without a playoff game, if you go up there during a regular game, if the girls are away somewhere and the boys are playing there, all the kids park in the parking lot before everybody else even gets there. There's nowhere to go. And I don't think it's our responsibility to give them our property to park on or to find somewhere. They should be able to put it on the property they own, or if they really need property that bad, why don't they buy a chunk of the property we have just on the other side of the easement there? That's close, but I agree. I think we need to do something. I've been there several times this year. I had to park out on Kirkus Street.
You know, and we've been lucky this winter, because with the winter we've had, there's no outdoor ice. So just imagine if we did have outdoor ice, we got 8 more teams, little kids teams trying to get in and out of there. That ain't gonna happen. And those are, and like, I agree with Mr. Rowe here, is it doesn't need to be a big event. It's a normal event. The hockey team's very successful this year. There's more people coming to watch them now than ever has since the building's been open. And I'm guessing they're gonna be pretty good again next year, which it doesn't take long in a small town to hear, oh, hockey team's pretty good. I've seen people there this year that I haven't seen at a hockey game since it was in the 70s and 80s. And the other problem that you have is, what do these other schools and people that come think? Do you ever think they want to come back? That's a huge issue.
No, and I don't think anyone up here disagrees. So I guess my recommendation would be to invite the school to whoever it needs to be, school board members, administration, I don't know, whoever they want to bring, but to a public safety meeting, schedule a public safety meeting. Let's get this on our radar so we can start addressing it. Does that work? Do we need a motion for that?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I guess just to follow up with that, because we've had these discussions before, and we were making a little bit of headway up to COVID, and in COVID, everything kind of shut down, and there was the unknown. But things are continually building and building and building. I guess I'm okay with that, but I guess I kind of have a built-in expectation that I'm not going to tell them how to fix their problem. I'm looking for them to work with either our public safety and come up with a game plan, but I'm also not going to push it to the rug either. I'm looking for a game plan before next year becomes an issue, or the start of next year. That gives them some time to plan and figure out what is most feasible for them, economically, but not to just keep kicking the can to the curb either.
No, I want to see a plan of what they're going to do to fix the issue, and then follow through with it, right?
One of the things, Mayor, that as I go through the minutes, and I'm less like glazed over it, at the time Commissioner Lambert brought up a concern with the proposal of building a hockey rink down on Kirkus Street. And he observed that you had twice the amount of parking up at the fairgrounds than they allowed there. And I was at that meeting, and the school said that when it becomes a problem, we will take care of it. Of course, that's just at this point my recollection. But yeah, I don't want to tell them what to do. Looking for good solution for safety's sake.
Yeah, and under the June 26, 17 meeting minutes, it talks about, Chair Aldridge asked, what if the commission finds there isn't enough parking spots? And Anderson stated that the plan would have to include looking into the wetland areas. So, I mean, they had the discussion of what happens if this time comes.
Well, and I think the city was more than, you know, helpful for them to be able to give them this you know, reduction in parking so they could get the facility built, and I think it's worked out great. But, you know, now it's been quite a few years, like Troy said, I think it's time, they know it's a success, they can see the parking problems, and I agree with Jake, you know, it's time to say, you guys said you'd take care of it, if that be a problem, what are you gonna do?
I agree. All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, so what happens if they don't do anything?
Well, is there parking allowed on Kirkus like that? Maybe the city needs to look at doing no parking on Kirkus.
You know,
If it's,
so if it goes to, you know, public safety and nothing happens, then what do we do?
I thought the public safety numerous times.
I think public safety then needs to address the safety concern that parking on Kirkus Street is bringing, and maybe put no parking signs up along Kirkus Street. I know they just did that out on, what is that, Arrowhead Road? Is it Arrowhead by the, what's that bar out there? That whole street has no parking. Hermantown Road, thank you. That whole street has no parking signs because parking became an issue there. And so the city put no parking signs up.
But there, once again, now you're putting it back on the police department, who's gonna go out there and write 200 tickets, and the school's gonna magically make them disappear. 14 tickets written at the Hermantown game. 14.
How does it, I guess I don't know how the school makes parking tickets
Well.
disappear, but.
John, quick question. If we give them a variance like we did, is that it? Can never change it? I mean, can we go back and say, you were required to have this and now it's causing a public safety concern, and, or can they just say, too bad you gave us one?
It was a conditional use permit, would be a lot easier question to answer. But if they're not complying with the terms of variance, I'm not sure it goes away, but there are mechanisms for us to enforce that.
Councilor Benson.
If we're gonna be asking the school to work with us on this, I think we also need to be a little proactive as well. And Jim's brought up crosswalks in other areas. It was just brought up, I think, Ms. Mayor, you did that, discussed the crosswalks, perhaps some lighting, but we have to do our part as well.
I agree with that from the point that if it's gonna, until it gets fixed, there's probably some things we could do to make sure nobody gets killed there or something, but I don't wanna start doing that stuff, you know, I want them to fix the problem. I don't wanna just have us keep putting a Band-Aid on it for them so they don't have to do anything.
Well, if push came to shove, I'll defer to the attorney, but if it just simply said, no, we're not gonna do anything, Counselor Johnson, it's not really with us, then it goes to the state. The state will just shut it down, because the state has specific rules that we entertained a variance to make it go, because they said that if it became a problem, we would adjust it, we would fix it. So if we get a slap in the face, we're just trying to be neighborly, reach out and say, we need to have a plan. We know it can't happen next week or the next day, but we need a plan of attack so that we can resolve this issue. If somebody from the school said, no, we're not gonna do anything, what are you gonna do about it? I just defer to the state, because the state has statutes that they need to follow too for a public place. I don't think it's gonna head that direction. But to answer your question, that would be the legal ramification
Well, it's, you know, to me, they kind of set the precedence already that they're not gonna do anything.
I don't think we've really pushed, we've tried to work together with them, we've made them aware of it, but, I know going through COVID was a different time, I mean, things were shutting down, there just wasn't a lot of action. We wanted to support the thing, let it build, let it nurture it a little bit. I know there was some other things with, economic development that were going on, where they're trying to work, I mean, there's a bigger plan out there, in the futures at some point, at some, you know, so this is just one step towards that too. And, you know, who knows, maybe year one, it's just grubbing out some trees and putting some class 5. I don't think anyone's saying it's gotta be curb, gutter, asphalt, it's, we have dirt parking at the fairgrounds, you know, but it has to be something. And I don't think we're gonna ever achieve the necessary parking for like the major events, the girls section game, you know. But at least if we can make it a step better than what it is, and maybe we double down on the parking that originally it should have been based on square foot, and then we have 1 or 2 events a year for those major events, but we can handle at least the parking needs for when youth has 2 outdoor rinks full with youth kids, and there's a high school game where the girls, boys, peewees, bantams, and some teams out of town, so there's cars parked there. I think that would be a good first step. I mean, that, if I was on public safety, that's what I'd be trying to have that discussion with whoever represents the school from it.
Well, and what's disappointing for me is you're getting an email from a resident, and it's not our facility. That email should be going to the school. That, you know, instead of us talking about this thing, they should be doing something, and they're not.
I would venture to say that the school has received emails on this problem. It just, nothing's probably happened.
Yeah.
So they wanted to take the time to do a data request to look at the information of what was discussed. And I had kind of forgotten about it a little bit until I'm rereading this thing, and it makes perfect sense why we did and what planning and zoning did back then. We were trying to incubate this thing, get it to go. It's a good problem to have. It's showing success now.
Yeah.
And it's filling up. That's a good thing. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a good thing. Now we just have to tweak it a little bit to get a little better.
Into your earlier point, Councilor DeWall, we were having good conversations regarding this issue back before COVID struck. I don't foresee the school coming back and saying, we're not interested in talking about this. So I think we can sit down with them and come to a plan.
And one of the last school board meetings that I attended, they were discussing it. They're aware of it. Superintendent brought it up, realized something had to be done. So the timing is probably pretty good to sit down, because they've begun discussions on their end.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be able to facilitate a meeting and get something resolved. At least have a concrete plan, something they can start working on in the near future here. Any other comments?
I guess the last comment I just want to make, because at the end of the day, I want to be neighborly, because if the better we work together, the better it is for the community. But I think if by getting it out now, if there is some involvement from a city, whether we do something with a property that we own up there, or whatever, it gives us time to react to, gives us time as we look at 2025's budget. So that's why it just seems like we always miss the boat. We have our budget set, you know, and I know their budget is what, June to July, July to June. So they're on a mid-year per calendar, but I just think it's a good time as well. That's it.
Thank you. Any other conversation? Hearing none, we'll move on. Under 7, closed meeting pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 13D03 and 13D05, subdivision 3, looking for a motion to go to closed session regarding labor negotiations finance director and police chief contracts.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. resume the regular city council meeting. Looking for a motion to accept Chief Gatis's contract with the city of Proctor. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second. Second by Counselor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to accept Finance Director Brunfeld's contract with the city of Proctor as presented.
So moved.
Counselor Reuter made the motion.
Second.
Second by Counselor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to members' concerns. Counselor Reuter.
I really don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor DeWalt.
Nothing.
Thank you. Counselor Johnson.
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day and good luck to Mr. Rowe here.
Thank you. Counselor Benson.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I got one thing. Our next meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, due to President's Day. So make sure, note that. Attorney Bray.
Now, one thing, good luck, Jim.
Thanks.
Thank you. Chief Gatis? Anything? No? Chief? Chief Elquist? Okay. Administrator Rich? Sounds good. I do not have a total here for the bills, but looking for a motion to pay the bills that were presented in our packet.
So moved.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion?
I just, 40 hours of overtime for the liquor store.
Probably somebody who was on vacation would be my guess.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Counselor DeWall made the motion to adjourn. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you.